Tupac and Will Smith went up for the same movie role. They could have been competitors in more ways than one. Let's talk about it. Hi guys, welcome to the channel. If you like hearing stories from the 90s, subscribe. Let's get into it. So according to Tupac's friends, he believed that the real money was in the movies, not the music. And that's the direction he planned on going down before his untimely death in 1996. And based on his first 4 movies, many believe Tupac would have had great success within the film industry, possibly have even had a career Will Smith style level. And ironically, many compare Tupac to Will Smith in relation to acting and the potential he had as an actor. And apparently, they auditioned for the same movie role, and it was a big one. Tretch from Naughty by Nature said the following: "Not taking anything away from nobody, but him and Will Smith would have been acting side by side. Tupac could have been in one of those $100 million grossing films. He was destined to be on top of the bill." Napoleon also compared Tupac to Will Smith and spoke of the career he believed he could have had. It's well known that when Tupac served time at the Clinton Correctional Facility, he wrote scripts, as well as music. One script he wrote, and one that he had shown to a couple of industry people, was Live to Tell. Jasmine Guy spoke about the script, saying, "We talked about the scripts, stories, ideas. He wrote Live to Tell while he was in prison. He gave it to me and said, 'Here's the first draft. Go get it done.' I think that was the direction he was going to go in. He was ambitious and highly creative." Live to Tell is a story about a teenage drug baron who tries to leave behind a life of crime. The producers behind the Tupac Resurrection documentary were reported to be working on a movie based on the script. This was back in 2011. At the time, Ivan Uzang, one of the producers, said the following: "This kid was a genius, and the net of it is, he was from this community. He knew the struggles these young people were dealing with. He was able to talk to young people in 2011, 2012, the same way he was able to talk to young people in 1995. This was back in 2011, so I had to look up, what became of the script. And I found that it was actually auctioned. I found it on the auction site, Gotta Have Rock and Roll, which is known to have sold many of Tupac's memorabilia. They didn't disclose what it went for, but it opened at $3,500. On the auction site, it confirms that the script was never made into a movie. They say the movie was in the style of Quentin Tarantino. The script itself reveals who Tupac had planned to cast for the movie. He wanted Jaffe Fallah, aka Yaki Kadafi, to play the character James Howard, Mutabil, Napoleon, to play Raheem, Jasmine Guy, to play a character called Catherine Howard. I assume she's related to Yaki Kadafi's character, maybe the mother. And he wanted Jada to be in the movie, to play the character Carla James. And then Cheryl James, aka Salt, or Yolanda Whittaker, aka Yo-Yo, to play a character called Tyler Murphy. The script was typed up, but had Tupac's handwritten annotations. The proposed movie was said to have an $11 million budget, and Antoine Fuqua was involved in the project. And it was supposed to be produced by N-Star Studios, and I can't really find much on the company now. So who knows why it was never made into a movie. Maybe it was funding, creative differences, or maybe they just didn't have the support and backing to make the movie. Napoleon said Tupac would have been the first Will Smith, and he confirmed that he wanted a movie career as well as a music career. I think he would have been the first Will Smith. When you talk to these kids right now, they don't know Will Smith was a rapper. They just look at Will Smith as a favoured actor. Park was ahead of them. I think he would have got 40, 50, $30 million movie deals. Will was doing music before he became the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but it was the acting that really catapulted his career. But as part of Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, he won 2 Grammys, and as a solo artist, he has won 4. And we know he won an Oscar, but we won't talk about that right now. Tupac's first big break in the movies was winning the role of Bishop for the movie Juice in 1992. When he won that role, he had his first album, Apocalypse Now, ready to go, and that was released a year before the movie. In the book Changes by Sheldon Pierce, Jackie Brown, casting agent for the movie Juice, spoke about how they initially wanted a rapper to play the role of Bishop. She actually sent the script to Humpty, or Shock G, but he declined. Then she sent the script to Tretch, and he was interested. She said she spent an hour with him, preparing him for the audition, but when he read for producers, he really wasn't right for the role. Apparently it's pretty bad. So one night, Jackie had stayed behind late in the office, while everyone else had left, except for one of the writers who was in the other room. She said a skinny man walked in, saying that he wanted to audition for the role of Bishop. She said when she looked at him, she was confused. I'm looking at him. He's a slight, literally underweight looking kid. She asked him his name and he said, Tupac Shakur. He told her he had read the entire script and loved it, and he told her that he could play Bishop. She offered him 5 pages from the script to prepare himself, but he said there was no need. He had already memorized it all. She read with him and she was blown away. She described him as amazing. She said what caught her attention was that he underplayed Bishop. He wasn't yelling and screaming. Since Bishop was such a nasty, cold-blooded killer, yelling and screaming would have been a bit much.
But now, you're right. I am crazy.
She said he had a subtle, intense quality, and it was perfect for the role. So she ran and got the writer, telling him that she has found Bishop. When he walked into the room, he took one look at Tupac, walked back out, and said, "Where is he?" They laughed, and she reassured him that she was being serious, and they invited Tupac to read for the writer. When he saw Tupac read, he too described him as amazing and perfect for the role of Bishop. They told him that he definitely had a callback, and they had to speak to the other producers. So they told him to hang around to go and get some lunch or something. On the way out, he bumped into the producers. When Jackie told them that the guy who they had passed by in the hallway was Bishop, they laughed. Tupac read again for the other producers. They offered him the job on the spot. Well, they called him back in, and it was Jackie who broke the news to him, telling him that he had got the part. She said he hugged her and cried. Tupac's training at the Baltimore School for the Arts really helped him in his career, especially in the initial stages. They said he had a lot of professionalism and just picked up things a lot quicker than some of the other actors. Fellow cast member Khalil Kane said the following: "When you get a role in a movie, you don't know what it's going to be. We didn't know Juice was going to be a cult hit and have the sort of relevance it does for hip-hop culture, for urban culture, for black culture. I read the script. There was nothing profound about the script for Juice. It was an indie movie about this crew doing street-ish. They weren't even a gang. They were just kids, just friends. What's so special about that? So coming on the set, I had no idea what it was going to be. And see, that's the difference between me and Park. He understood. I know what it's going to be because it's going to be what I make it." So Tupac was only 18 at the time of filming the movie, and they say he was very confident and assured of himself. And he ended up getting paid the most. Jackie says that she doesn't know why he was paid so much, but that he was worth every penny. Apparently he got $15,000 for the movie. Remember, this was an independent movie, and this was back in the 90s. So a year after the release of Juice, Tupac went on to film the iconic movie Poetic Justice, a very successful John Singleton movie with fellow castmates Regina King, Joe Torre, and of course, Janet Jackson. A completely different role from Juice. He went from playing hardened killer Bishop to a single father with a romantic persona, showing his versatility.
Ain't you kind of hot out there? Lucky said he'd apologize.
Tupac went on to star in the 1994 movie Above the Rim. 1994 was the most tumultuous year of his life. It's believed that Haitian Jack was the inspiration behind the character Birdie, and that Tupac studied Haitian Jack while they hung out together in New York City. But many believe hanging out with characters such as Haitian Jack and Jimmy Henchman was probably the biggest mistake of his life. While he was in New York, Tupac ended up getting embroiled in his infamous court case, and he was shot 5 times at Quad Studios. Haitian Jack and Jimmy Henchman were notorious street dudes in New York City. Tyson even warned Tupac about hanging out with these guys, saying that they were out of his league.
Well, I used to tell Pac, man, I say, I don't know if I think you're out of your league right now. You know?
Mm-hmm.
He had asked me about Jack. You know, and I had known Jack through Scooter. And I used to say, you're out of your league.
It has since been revealed that Tupac also auditioned for Independence Day, the movie that was a breakout role for Will Smith, and a huge budget movie of $75 million. It went on to gross $800 million worldwide. Will Smith went on to become the only actor in the 90s to have 8 consecutive movies gross over $100 million domestically and $150 million worldwide. Wild Wild West kind of ruined that streak, but obviously Independence Day was a huge success, and who knows how things would have turned out if Tupac had got the role instead. Apparently they initially wanted an unknown, and they wanted the movie to speak for itself, rather than having a well-known actor making things more complicated and potentially making the budget even more expensive. And on Vlad TV, EDI also confirmed that Tupac wanted to go down the movie route, even probably leaving behind the music and focusing on acting.
Well, I was interviewing Edie from The Outlaws, and I remember he told me that Tupac was actually up for that role that Will Smith got.
Really?
Then he died, of course.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
I never knew. Wow.
Yeah, Tupac. Yeah.
I don't know how that would have worked.
You know, because he was doing his thing leading up to it, and Poetic Justice and everything else like that, and he was really gearing up to really
sure, absolutely.
You know, he was going to leave really music alone because the movies were just paying so much more, and he was becoming a lead character and everything else like that. So really, this last project, he was actually going to the Machiavelli project was supposed to be just a mixtape that he gave away for free.
So here are 5 other movies that Tupac was up for and could have appeared in. This is nothing out of the ordinary. Will Smith was initially up for the role of Neo in The Matrix. Martin Lawrence was going to play the original Pookie in New Jack City. And Sylvester Stallone was supposed to be the original Beverly Hills Cop. I'm not sure how that would have turned out. So what were the roles Tupac went up for? So the first one was Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. So Tupac had gone up for the role of Jedi Master Mace Windu, who was eventually played by Samuel L. Jackson. A former death row engineer, Rick Clifford, said that Tupac had told him that he had gone up for the role and had read for the role with George Lucas. Now I know what you're thinking, that movie didn't come out until 1999. However, it's believed that the casting for the movie took place in 96, so the dates do add up. Tupac very well could have gone for the role that year. So Richard Clifford said that he and Tupac used to talk about movies all the time in the Death Row Studios. We've all heard the stories of how Tupac went all out with his music shortly before his death, spending hours upon hours in the studio and recording hundreds of songs. Perhaps he did the same with his acting and went on as many auditions as possible and went all out, trying to create the movie career that he desired. Then there was the movie Higher Learning that was set to have a really A-list cast, such as Leonardo DiCaprio and Gwyneth Paltrow. Leonardo DiCaprio was John Singleton's first choice for the character Renie. Michael Rappaport ended up playing the character instead. Tupac was actually chosen to play the character Malik. However, when he got into his legal battle, the production team refused to fund the movie with Tupac in it, so he had to pull out. Shortly after Tupac pulled out of the project, Gwyneth Paltrow and Leonardo DiCaprio also pulled out of it. It sounded like it was in some sort of protest for Tupac getting pulled from the project, But Michael Rapaport said that wasn't the case. It was just a coincidence that they happened to leave soon after Tupac had to leave. And Leonardo DiCaprio was on his way to becoming the huge star that he is today. So they both had a lot of offers coming in and probably were offered a lot more money for other projects. Then there was the movie Baby Boy, another John Singleton movie. Tyrese said that John Singleton originally wanted Tupac to play the role of Jody. He said that he saw Tupac filming for his music video To Live and Die in LA, which wasn't too far from his office. But of course, Tupac passed away not too long after filming that music video, and it was way before they started filming for the movie. Tyrese also once said that he and Tupac look alike, and he also said that Afeni Shakur said that he reminded her of Tupac. Do you think the two of them look alike? The music video for the song To Live and Die in LA was filmed just a couple of months before Tupac's death. One of Tupac's friends, who appeared in the video, posted a photo of the two of them with the caption, "Me and my brother Tupac. I don't like to talk about him a lot, because in my heart, I feel like he was special, an enlightened being. All the conversations we had, I'll hold in my heart for a lifetime. He told me once, 'Nick, you're strong, so strong,' and I have never forgotten that." This was on the set of his video To Live and Die in LA. He got mad at me because I didn't want to be in the video, and he was stubborn as ever, so I gave in. LOL. It turned out to be the most fun I've ever had. Oh Park, so many tears thinking about your kid. Love you for all my days. When they killed him, they took a real soldier. According to Keisha Morris, Tupac auditioned for the role of Bubba in Forrest Gump.
Gumbo, pan fried, deep fried, stir fried. There's pineapple shrimp, lemon shrimp, coconut shrimp.
Keisha, who married Tupac in '94, said that their first date was to see the movie Forrest Gump, which was the #1 film in the country at the time. Tupac revealed on their date that he read for the part of Bubba. Number 5, Menace to Society. Menace to Society was an iconic movie in '93. The story surrounding Tupac and the Hughes brothers is quite a story, and Tupac told it very well. So Tupac was supposed to play the role of Sharif, a teenager living in South Central. Some reports say that Tupac wasn't happy with the role he was given because he wanted a bigger role. However, Tupac confirms that he wasn't happy with the role, not because he wanted a bigger role, but because he didn't believe that the character was authentic. Unfortunately, due to these disagreements, an altercation ensued. Now, I don't condone violence, but Tupac said that he did want to fight them and basically went for them. And instead of standing their ground, he said they took off running. Apparently, they didn't even have each other's back. They just left one another.
I threatened. I said, both y'all get out the car, we about to box. His brother, his twin brother, got out and started running. That's on my mama. He ran. Twins. He ran.
But rather graciously, Allen Hughes had nothing but good things to say about Tupac, despite their past beef. He said, "If Pac had been in the movie, he would have outshined everyone. It would have thrown the whole axis of the movie off if Tupac was in it, because he was bigger than the movie." The movie was quite successful. It went on to make $29.5 million at the box office, and it did win various awards, and it was critically acclaimed. And Allen is supposed to be working on yet another two-part documentary where he interviews various people, including Snoop, and people who were in Vegas keeping a vigil by his bedside that night. In promotion of Tupac's last movie, Gridlock, that was released in '97 posthumously, a press kit was released that featured one of Tupac's last interviews. The interview took place just a few weeks before his death, where he said the following: "I can't explain why I shine and no one else shines. I think everybody shines in different things, and a lot of things I can't do. I can't play basketball like every other black person in America. I can act. I know how to go to that true spot in myself because I go there every day. I can be me. I can be whoever because I'm true to me. I can go to neutral easily. A lot of people, black, white, Mexican, young, old, fat or skinny, have a problem being true to their self. They have a problem looking into the mirror and looking directly into their own soul. The reason I sell 6 million records, the reason I can go to jail and come out without a scratch, the reason I can walk around, the reason I am who I am today, is because I can look directly into my face and find my soul. It's right there. It's not sold. I didn't sell it. It's still within me. I still feel it. My heart is still connected to my body. So any character, I'm going to bring that intensity, that truth, that honesty to it, because I have to repay for that blessing. I could be the best actor anybody's ever seen, given the chance, the opportunity, the experience and the lessons from people. I could be the best, but right now, I don't even wish to be the best. I just want to be one of them. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie Juice, click off now. Check out this alternate ending for the movie Juice. Many believe that this would have been a better ending because it's true to who the character Bishop was.
Paramount Pictures came in. There was a focus group. They wanted, you know, they didn't want the bad guy to go out on his own terms.
Part of who Bishop is was shaped by what he knows or what he has heard happened to his father in prison. We see that his father was traumatized. So, as scripted, when we did the final fight between Bishop and Q on the rooftop, and Bishop goes over, and Q holds on to him.
Come on, Q, don't let me go! I got you, Bishop, man, come on. Q, don't let me go!
Then he hears police sirens coming, getting closer.
Hold on, man.
He hears the cops coming, and he stops struggling, and he looks in Q's eyes, and he says, I'm not going to jail.
Come on, man, come on, pull up, he don't let go.
And he lets go.
Let's go!
He would rather die than go to jail. It was just an attitude that showed that Bishop wasn't a punk.
And there you have it. What's your favourite two-part movie? Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts below, you know I read the comments. Like and subscribe for weekly videos. And don't forget to click the bell for more.